Well, I could be upset, I could be sad, and I could let that affect my day. But if I let that little thing affect my attitude today, well then it's gonna affect you. It affects you, it's gonna affect the coaches. It might affect our whole session negatively. But then I start to think about it, and I'm like, well wait a minute. If I get upset this morning, and I stay upset today through this session, and one of the things that I enjoy the most in the whole wide world doesn't go good, well then all of a sudden I wake up tomorrow morning and I'm like, you know what? I didn't sleep very well. And if I had to go to school tomorrow, I'd be like, I don't even care if I do good on these tests. And maybe if I was playing basketball with my friends, I would treat my friends poorly. Like my friends, not my acquaintances, like my friends. The people that mean the most to me, right? But then think about that. If you let one thing or 1 hour or one day affect you, why not let it affect your whole week? Why not just make the whole week crappy? How easy would that be? Just be like, forget it. This whole week, I'm not getting good grades. My mom and dad are picking on me. All these bad things are happening. And then that turns into a month of just being in a bad mood. And all of a sudden you think that could turn into a year? Absolutely. These habits that we create, these consistencies, whether good or bad, they're long lasting and they become our normal. Don't just think it's one attitude or one action or one thought, because your one thought can go into an action, can then become your whole life. Attitudes are everything. And I know how good attitudes work too, because there have been times in my life where things seem to go right all the time. Like that they were too easy, like I didn't even have to try. And they were great. But man alive, it is way harder to think like that than it is to think negative. Because you don't have to try to think negative. You just think bad and negative and just be like bad, 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 bad. So attitudes, they lead to actions, they lead to habits that become our whole life. So try to think positive, and to think not necessarily that you should base your emotions off of how things happen, but instead how your emotions, how your thoughts and feelings can then make good things or bad things happen for you. It's the chicken and the egg. What comes first? You thinking positive or the good results? Try thinking positive first. See if it changes. And fight for it. Don't just give up. Don't just give up like on the track. Don't give up with those good attitudes. Fight. Push yourself through it. Riders, I want you to walk up the staging area, please. The gate, starting gate. Lift it up, Austin. Everybody behind the gate, get to where you can see these riders. There's plenty of room up there. So if this is the gate, this is the starting gate, what is this part right here? The hill, the starting hill. You got the first jump down there. We'll talk about it. What's the place called that you line up for your motos? Staging. We gotta talk like BMXers. Look, you gotta go to school and be like, dudes, dudettes, I just jumped this step up, and I was like, you know, riffing with my friends and staging. It was so cool. You gotta come and check it out. We're gonna learn the lingo. The starting gate. You see these boys and girls? They are lined up straight. Their pedals are level. Today we're gonna work on balancing in the gate. That means 2-footed gate start. Not 1 foot on, 1 foot off. Both feet on the pedals. And look at it, it's like magic. They've got nothing holding themselves up. Now the gate is angled, so their gate is already holding them, kind of, the bike is against the gate, and so the gate's kind of holding them there. Then when it drops, it releases them. But what you can do to help with this balancing, that can be practiced at home. So you can practice against the garage wall, against the curb, and in 2 weeks when you come back, you can have balancing down. It's just like how much you want to work away from the track. So we've got the feet level, everything's straight, and they should have a little bit of pressure on their front foot. That dominant foot have a little bit of pressure, so they're pushing even more against the gate. And you cannot tell, but they are balancing using their arms and their shoulders. They're just moving themselves back and forth like millimeter by millimeter to make sure they're in their balance point. You can't even really see it. It's not their head, it's not their booty, it's nothing. Except their arms and shoulders back and forth fighting that balance point. They got a little bit of pressure on that dominant foot. And so you can stand, you can sit, it doesn't matter. Show them what standing looks like. Standing up, the same thing. All they do is just stand straight up. The booty's right over their seat, and they are just chilling. Seriously, just hanging out. With a little bit of pressure still. Moving the arms and shoulders back and forth, keeping that balance point. And then they're going to take off out of the gate. Take off out of the gate. And in fact, we are going to work on 2 drills today, but we're going to split them up. One group is going to be on the gate. One group is going to be on the rhythm section with me. Then we're going to switcheroo so that everybody gets like max time on the gate. It's very important. So I want you 3 to stand. I want you 3 to sit down. And watch this gate.
Rhythm start. Riders ready. Watch the gate.
Did you see anybody do a wheelie out of here?
Yes.
Did you see anybody's wheel come up?
Yeah.
Well, if you did, it's their power, it's their strength. It's because they're older. Nobody here does that yet.
Yeah.
But potentially in the future, that's what happens. You have so much power that when the gate drops, you shoot out like a rocket. I like that. Think about that. All right, I want everybody with Coach Austin and me. Let's walk down to the first jump. Hey, the gate is the #1 most important thing that we're working on this first straightaway. But I also know that jumping is pretty cool.
But it costs a lot of speed.
Yeah, Sebastian, you're right. You're not able to gain speed when you're in the air, but gosh darn it, jumping is fun. And so if you can catch a little bit of air and do it safely, then we should try it. So we're going to try it on this first jump. We're going to actually have 2 spots. We can try it. You got to remember how we worked last week on standing and having level feet and having our arms and legs loose so we can absorb this first obstacle. In fact, what is this thing called right here?
A tabletop. Not a tabletop.
Roller. This is a roller. What is the name of this right here?
A tabletop.
Everybody gets that. So it's a tabletop, it's a roller, but when they're combined together into one jump, we call it a roller table. And you're going to be going over triples and step up, step downs, and all that stuff. And so I want to make it hard on you. In that I don't want you to forget what we worked on last weekend. How you stand, level feet, loose arms and legs. I don't want you to necessarily jump on this first roller. I want you to try to sky this tabletop. But it's not just going to happen. You can't just wish it to happen. you have to pull the bike up. You've actually got to pull that thing up in the air. But even more importantly, you got to have the speed, you got to stand, you got to have level feet, and you've also got to have right timing. Because if you try to pull your bike up right here, you've got no lift. Use the lift, use the ramp. Let that rocket shoot you up into the air with the help of your arms when you pull up. So look at the top of each jump, the lip of each jump. That could be a potential place where you catch some air. All right, coaches, I want you to demonstrate jumping that table portion of it.
Do it! Do it! Jump!
Hey, that part, jumping on that is very hard. Because if you can see, there's a very small lip. Very small lip. It's much smaller than this, the lip of the roller right here. So I want you to maybe test out a few things. Pumping on this jump, pushing down so you don't catch air. Try to catch air right there on the tabletop, or you can try to catch a little bit of air right here on this roller. Because it's bigger, it's a little bit more steep. And so I want to have Coach Austin demonstrate a couple different options for you. Watch this. Watch an option Austin's going to show you right now. So he caught air. You saw it. It was like a foot. And then he came down and he was safe. And it was no big deal. That's an option for you. He's going to try something else. If you can do this, then we're going to need to talk. If you can do that, I'm going to have to get you a coach shirt. And you're going to have to come coach. Because that's not easy. And I'm not expecting it for you to get it today, but the idea, all these different drills that we're introducing to you over the weeks, you don't need to nail it right off the bat. You just need to understand it. And then each time during practice, you start to work on that, get better and better. And whether it clicks this league season or the next or in 2 years, you'll understand it. You'll have the concept down. Okay, let's walk down the front of this jump. How do you know it's the rhythm section? Because it's the most amount of jumps in a row, like no pausing in between. There's doubles in the rhythm section, there's rollers, there's tabletop, there's step-up doubles, but it all makes up the rhythm section. I know what I'm going to do this week. I'm going to give them the opportunity to learn a new skill or refine a skill they've worked on before. And this skill is going to allow you to at least maintain, if not gain speed when you're not pedaling. Because when you're not pedaling, you always lose speed. Unless you do this skill, and that's called pumping. If you can pump over jumps, that can at least allow you to maintain your speed. No place better to do it than the rhythm section, because it's jump after jump after jump. And so when you pump, it's just like last week. You gotta have loose arms and loose legs. And when you go over each and every roller, you have to push down. And then you have to absorb. And then you have to push down. Because it's our body generating speed. It's like we're a bunny rabbit hopping through the rhythm section. Just boing, 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 boing. Now if you notice, once again, I said let's use some speed boosts on the track to help you understand where you should push. Because you can have the best form ever. In fact, do that with me. Bend down. Bent arms, bent legs. Everybody's got to stand up. Everybody's got to stand up. Bent arms, bent legs. And then stand up. And then bend down. And then stand up. And then bend down. And stand up. And I'm not talking about bending like this. I'm talking about bending all the way down. All the way bent legs, all the way bent arms. And so when your arms and legs are all the way bent at this portion of the roller, you've got these speed boosts. When you hit these speed boosts, boom, you push down. The arms go down, the legs go down, and you're standing up. And then you absorb the next jump. And then you push down again. So I want our coaches to demonstrate this rhythm section. They're going to try to hit these speed boosts. You're going to try to as well. Look, they don't even have to pedal. And they're going as fast as if they were pedaling. It's good. I want you to watch Coach Austin. Coach Austin did the best bent arm and bent leg out of anybody. But he was actually slowing himself down. Why? Timing, timing, timing. He was actually pushing into the jump, instead of down the jump. And so he was stopping each time he did it. Timing, form, execution. Now on moto 6 through 10, at the exit of the second turn, everybody else to the top of the hill. It's all in your arms, okay? If you're gonna fall this way, you gotta pull with this arm and pull your bike back. Okay, same with this way, pull your bike back. See how you're doing that with your arms? That's what keeps you steady. Okay, so stay looking at that number 1 on that gate. Stay looking forward. Just keep those pedals even, and you got it. It's all in your arms. You're doing it by yourself right now.
Keep your head up, bud.